So I think it is recording.
In the panel above, there will be an. Is it showing recording to you?
Yeah, I will start the recording. So
Okay. Okay. So that's not an issue. You will receive the recording on the computer itself after the end of the session. Okay. So all over to you. You can start.
okay. So in today's session, we are going to see how we can build the model for single phase PV inverter. So here we'll discuss regarding the MPPT technique. Here we are going to model the two-stage converter. So basically we'll use one boost converter, then we'll use one single phase inverter. So the two-stage converter, his first stage will be for boosting the PV panel output, and the second stage will require to invert the output of the DC link to make it AC. So we are going to use two-stage converter here, and we are going to use the control logic. So for inverter, we are going to use the open loop control logic, and for maximizing or for extracting the maximum power, we are going to use perturb and observe algorithm, so that we can extract the maximum power. So here the MPPT technique will be P&O. So now we'll start the modeling. So we'll open the schematic editor. So regarding the modeling, if you will have any query, so you can ask in between the modeling. You can unmute yourself and you can ask your queries. So I think you all are aware regarding the MPPT technique. So we're not going to discuss detail regarding that. So there are several techniques for extracting maximum power. So either we can use incremental conductance, we can use perturb and observe, we can use PSO, and then other artificial neural network technique. So you can utilize any one of that, and you can just use any one of that. But here we are going to use P&O algorithm. So now we'll open the new schematic file. So for that, you have to click on this create new schematic. Then new window schematic wizard will open. Here you have to make changes required according to you. Like you have to provide hardware product settings. So you can select from 402 to 604, either whatever the hardware product you have. Then according to your system requirement, you can choose the hardware configuration. So I think let me show you the device table. So here the device table is, so this device table is for Hill 402 device. So we are having 6 configuration for 402 device. So as per the device, we have different configurations. So talking about the configurations, different configurations having different number of SPCs, the number of machine solvers. So this configuration is totally dependent on your applications. Like if you are working on the field of, if you in your model you want to calculate the losses, switching losses and other thing, so you need to select as per your requirement. Like here in the configuration 4, you can see that you are having the option for converter power calculation loss. So here you can see that converter power loss calculation is only available in configuration 4. So if you are working in the area of calculating the converter power losses, then you need to choose the configuration 4, and here you have to select the configuration depending on the, like your system having the complexity, so you require more number of SPCs to simulate that particular model. So you require more number of SPCs. So for that purpose, you need to choose the configuration number 2, because Hill 402 device having, it can simulate maximum 4 3-phase 3-level converter. So maximum 4 3-phase 3-level converter means the configuration 2 can simulate up to maximum 4 3-phase 3-level converter. So if you select configuration 1, so it will simulate maximum up to three-phase three-level converter. So depending on your requirement, you can select the number of configuration. You can select the configuration and you can select the device table. I'll close this one. Now you have to select the simulation settings. Like here, you have to provide the simulation method. Then you have to provide the simulation time step. So if you have a better knowledge of your simulation time step, like the time step of your plant part, then only you can select this simulation time step. If you are not having the better knowledge, then you have to select the auto, so that it will automatically select the appropriate time step for your model. So we'll select auto here and we'll select next. Now we'll whatever the setting we have provided, it will show. Then you have to click on the finish. Now new schematic editor will open. So I think now you are getting the idea how you can select the settings for your new schematic file. So after opening it, you can also change the settings by going to the model settings here. You can go to the schematic settings and you can change that one in between the new schematic file. So we have to either we can type here the component name, or we can, if you know the library where the library component is present, you can go and you can drag that one. So the PV panel is in the source. So here the photovoltaic panel. Now we can drag one photovoltaic panel. Now we'll rotate this one. So for rotating, either you can right click on that and here you can select for rotate clockwise direction, or you can rotate from here also, or you can just use control R for rotating the component. So now I will like to change the name here, PV. Now we are working, as I told you, this is going to be two-stage converter. So we require one boost converter. So the boost converter will be available in the converter library component. So here we have the boost. Now we'll drag one boost converter. Now similarly we'll drag one single phase inverter. Now we'll drag some measurement component. So we'll drag some current measurement. Then we'll drag voltage measurement. So this current and voltage measurement is to measure the current and voltage of this PV panel. So now we'll try to connect. Now we'll change the name here. This is IPV and this will be VPV. Now we'll drag some passive component here. So passive component will drag inductor, then we'll drag resistor. So we can drop on the wire. Sometime it will connect. If it will not connect, then delete the wire and reconnect. So like this.
Sajjad, one thing I like to interfere here. In the chat box participant list, okay, there will be one waiting list. So you just need to enable him, means accept him. There will, in the name of Sandeep, I think so.
Okay.
Just check in the participants list. Over there, there will be a waiting name. So you need to accept him.
Okay, there was.
Yeah, it's done. It's done. It's done. He's entered. Yeah, welcome, Sandeep.
So now I think.
Yeah, everyone.
Anyone is left? Everyone is. arrived?
No. I think, yeah. All of them have joined. Yeah, you can continue.
Okay.
Over to you.
Okay. So those who are late, I'll just give a brief regarding this model. So we are going to model for a single phase PV inverter. Here the control logic will be open loop. So basically we are going to build the model for a single phase inverter. Here the in the first basically we are going to utilize two stage converter here. So first converter here is boost converter. So we are going to design a control logic for the boost converter to extract the maximum power. So for that we are going to use P and O
Hello?
algorithm. Hello, yes, anyone having query?
No, sir. I was just checking my mic, sir. Nothing.
Oh, okay. So you can unmute yourself. If you have query you can unmute, otherwise you will mute yourself. Okay, so now we'll start. So we have taken boost converter here. Now we'll drag some measurement component to measure the current output of this boost. We'll change the name here, IOUT boost. Now we'll drag one DC link capacitor here. So we'll go to the passive component. We'll drag capacitor. Now we'll connect it. Now we'll rename it. Now we'll drag one voltage measurement at the output of this inverter. Now we'll rotate. We'll rename it as V inverter. Now we'll drag some passive component for filter. So here we'll use LC filter. So for that we'll drag inductor and capacitor. Now we'll drag current and voltage measurement at the output of this filter. Now we'll drag one load resistor. So we'll here take the passive load. So for that we'll drag resistor. Now we'll rotate it. Now we'll rotate this voltage measurement and connect it. Now we'll rename it as IOUT, and this will be VOUT. Here this will be load resistor. So we'll change the name here. Now I'd like to change the resistance value here. So it will be 100 ohm, and the filter capacitor will be 20 microfarad. Similarly, the inductance value will be 3 millihenry, Now the capacitor, DC link capacitor will be 3 millifarad. Now this resistance value will be 0.1 and inductance value will be 3 millihenry. Now we require to design a control logic for extracting the maximum power. So for that, first we have to enable the signal processing part so that we can send this IPV. So we'll change here the equation rate TS. We'll make the signal out true here in the signal processing. So now you can see that one signal processing part is enabled at the current measurement. So similarly we'll do for the voltage measurement. So we'll make the signal out true here and we'll change the equation rate TS here. Now we'll click OK. Now we are going to design the control logic for MPPT boost. So for extracting the maximum power. So for that we are going to drag some signal processing component from the library. So now we require first product component here. So we'll type product component. So here we are having the product. Now we are going to multiply this VPV and IPV. So now we are going to drag one probe here. So probe is used to observe the signal. So here we are getting the power, PV power. So to observe that PV power in the capture scope, we have to drag one probe. So we'll change the name PPV here. So now we'll connect here. So basically in the perturb and observe algorithm, we apply a small perturbance in the voltage and we try to observe the output. So basically here what we are going to do, we are going to take the unit delay and we are going to apply the change in voltage so that we can observe the change in power, and that change in voltage and change in power we are going to use by signal processing component. And after that, that change in power, change in voltage and change in power we are going to provide in the C function block, and in that C function block we are going to write the codes for P&O algorithm. So for change in power or for change in voltage, so this unit delay will provide the change in power. So now we'll drag one sum function block here. Now we'll change the sign here. So this will be plus minus. Now this will give, at the output of this first sum block, we are going to observe the change in power. Similarly, we want to observe the change in voltage, so we require 1 unit delay. So we can copy this component, we'll paste it here, or we can use Control C and Control V. So we can copy this some block. Now we'll connect this. So now we are going to have at the output of this sum block 2, we are going to have change in voltage. So this change in voltage and change in power is going to in the C function block. So we'll drag C function block. Now we are going to provide the settings here. So basically here we are having two inputs. So one is change in power, so we'll write the name. First one is power, so this power will represent the change in power, and the second one is voltage. Both the signal will be of real type. Now at the output we are going to observe here, so there will be some variables here. While writing the code we require some variables, so we'll define that variable. Now the fourth variable will be maximum value, so we'll write the name for maximum value is maximum value, and the fifth variable will be step. So this is the code, sorry, this is the variables. Now we have to write the code in the C function block, so it will take time while writing the code. Now we have the written code. Now what I'll do, I'll copy that code and paste here. So I have to close this anyway. So you can see that we have the two inputs here. So first input is for change in power, so I have written that, so you can connect that one, and the second input is for change in voltage. So let me open the code here. So I have the P and O code. So it will take time to write that code, so that's why I'm not going to waste that time. Now we can paste here. So now I'd like to discuss regarding this code. So basically what we are going to observe using this code here, first we are defining the condition if power, that means the power representing here the change in power. So if initially the change in power equal to 0, then the step will be 0. And if else if, then condition is defined. If we then we'll observe the incremental change in power, and whether the power is going to change or going to increase or decrease. Because if you have observed the PV curve, so if you have observed PV curve, in that you can see the maximum power is going to achieve if the change in power with respect to change in voltage is maximum. That means dp by dv equal to 0. So for that, here the condition is same defined, and we are using that condition. So we are going to observe first if the change in voltage. That means here you cannot do not confuse with this voltage and power. Here the voltage and power representing the change in power and change in voltage. So if this change in voltage is greater than 0, then the condition is for power, change in power. If it is greater than 0, then step will be defined minus 1 into delta duty cycle, else it will be delta duty cycle. Similarly, this is for f, it is less than 0, then what the condition will be, it is defined here, and then the duty cycle is defined. Duty cycle will be equal to duty cycle plus the step, whatever the changes we are going to observe. And then if this duty cycle will be less than minimum value, then the duty cycle will be maximum value, sorry, minimum value. And else if it will be if it will be observing greater than the maximum value, then it will give the maximum value here. So we'll define that in the initial function. So in the initial function, we'll use that one. So we'll paste here. Now we'll check syntax. So there is no error in the code here. Now we'll save this one. So now we can connect this one. So this is at the output of the C function block, we are going to have the reference signal for this boost converter. So we are going to provide that one. So for that, we have to change the control logic here. So in the boost converter, we have three types of control signal we can provide. Either we can use digital inputs, or we can select internal modulator, or we can select model. So using digital input, we can provide the control logic outside. Like if we have external controller, then we can provide that control logic from the external controller. Or if here using the internal modulator, we have to provide only the reference signal, carrier will be inbuilt. Or if you are selecting this model, you have to provide carrier as well as your reference signal. So we are going to provide here, we are going to select here internal modulator, we are going to only provide the reference signal. So we'll select here internal modulator. So carrier frequency is already provided here, you can see. Now we'll change the settings here. So setting will be changed. So here the maximum and minimum value will change. So this will be and we are going to change the dead time period 1 microsecond. Now we're going to save the setting. Now you can observe here we have two signal processing here in the boost. So you can observe one is for reference signal and second one is for enabling and disabling this boost converter. So for enabling and disabling this boost converter, we are going to use the SCADA input. So we'll drag SCADA input. So we'll rename it as enable. Connect this one. And for sending this signal, we are going to use go to block. So here the signal go to is, so this is going to provide the reference signal. So we are, so here we are having three options. First one is local, then global, then mass subsystem. So if you are going to select so local, so that local is going to send the signal for that particular local system. And if you are providing the signal as a scope as a global, then it will set for entire route of the system. So if you are set the scope as a mass subsystem, then it will set for that particular mass subsystem. So depending on your requirement, you can select that one. Now we'll
what does it mean by global?
Global means if you are selecting the scope as a global, then it will set for entire route of the system. Here we are not having any subsystem, so we can either choose local or global. Are you getting?
Okay,
if your model containing some subsystem, So if you want some reference signal to send the entire route of the system, so for that signal, you need to select the scope as a global so that it will set for entire route of the system.
Okay, sir.
Now we'll drag signal from block. So we'll drag this one. So we have to provide the matching tag. So either we can write the same name or we can copy this one. We'll change the tag name here. Now we'll click OK. Now if we'll double click on this, we can have the matching tags. Now you can see that we are having the matching tag. If we click on this matching tag, it will automatically go to the system from where the signal is coming. So now this is done. Now we'll similarly do the setting for single phase inverter. So here we are going to use the intermodulator. So we are going to change the carrier frequency here. Now we'll click OK. So here you can observe that we have 3 signal processing leg here. First one is to enable and disable this single phase inverter, and the 2 is to provide the reference signal. So for providing the reference signal, we are going to use here open loop control logic. So for that, we'll drag sinusoidal. So it says here. So we'll drag one more, and we'll change the name here. This is for leg A. This is for B. Now we'll drag one constant block. We can use SCADA input as well to enable and disable this single phase inverter, but here we'll use the constant block and will enable the single phase inverter. We are not going to make use of this SCADA input, so it will always enabled. By using the constant block, will provide the signal. So here so this constant block will provide. So we have to change the execution rate here. Similarly, we have to change minimum value 0, because we are only required to make the converter on and off. So for that, we require minimum value 0, then maximum 1, and we have to change the execution rate. Now similarly, here we have to change only the execution rate for leg A, and for B we have to change the phase. This is 180 degree out of phase, and this execution rate will be TS. So now we have done for the plant part. Now we have to define the execution rate. We have taken execution rate as TS. Now we'll have to define that one. So here we'll use the execution rate as 200 microsecond. Now we'll save this one. Now we'll start the compilation. So first of all, we have to save the model. So we'll save the model. Now compilation is started. So related to this modeling part, if you have any query, you can ask. You can unmute yourself and you can ask the queries.
Sir, you have taken that constant block now, sir.
Yes, yes.
So what is the difference between that SCADA input and constant block?
So
And why have you?
So both SCADA input and the constant is you here I'm using. Okay, let's first compile this one. So now we are going to use the virtual here environment because we are not having any hardware device here. So that's why we are going to use the offline mode. Okay, now we'll go to the schematic editor back. So you can see here we have to provide minimum maximum value so that we can control the enabling and disabling this converter at the SCADA. So we can control the boost converter from the SCADA by using the SCADA input. So if you're using the SCADA input, you can control that system in the SCADA panel. But here we have used the constant block. So we are not going to control this single phase inverter enabling and disabling. It will automatically set that value whatever the signal we are providing here. So we have given the value 1. That means it will enable the single phase inverter. It will never disable. You can never disable this single phase inverter from the SCADA panel. So if you have to disable that one, you have to provide the constant block 0. And if you have to enable and disable this boost converter, you can that from the SCADA panel. So this is the difference between using the SCADA and the constant block. So hope the idea, you get the idea.
Okay, sir.
Any other queries? So if you have any other query, you can ask. So regarding the SCADA panel, you can design your own SCADA panel using this SCADA widgets. So we have different SCADA widgets here for action widgets. So for providing online control, like if you want to provide any values, you want to control any system like your signal reference values and your signal input value. So for that we have some action widgets, and for monitoring or for observing the signals we have monitoring widgets, and for uh, for getting the signal we have the signal data logger. So if you want to uh, observe the signal data from the Excel sheet, you can that use the signal data logger, and we have the serial connection. This is for if you're working on the real time mode, so you can use the serial connection. So different visual widgets here also will use here one group widgets. So in the group widgets we are going to drag one PV monitor so that we can observe. So we'll select the PV panel. Now to control the illumination temperature, we'll drag two slider. So first we'll change the group name here. So this group name is for PV panel. Now we are going to change the slider. So this is for irradiation. So we can change the minimum maximum value here. We can change the step. So either we can write the code or we can do from here. So we'll write the code for that irradiation. So hill dot set now we have to choose the file. So we have the PV file. So we are going to change the illumination. So for that we have to provide illumination equal to input value. Now we'll save the setting. Now we'll close it. So similarly, we'll do for the temperature. So this is PV temperature. So we'll change the minimum maximum value. So similarly, we'll write the code. We have to select the file first. Now here we have to change the temperature. Sorry, we have so will temperature will be equal to input value, because we have to change the temperature and illumination online while running the simulation. So you got the idea how we are going to use this one. Now we'll save this one. So for that we go to edit encoder, we'll save this one and we'll close this. Now you can see we have two sliders here. Now to observe the signal, we can drag capture scope, and to initialize the PV settings, we can use the macro widgets. So here I want to initialize the PV setting. So I'll change the name, initialization, go to edit encoder, then we have to enable API wizard. We'll go to PV setting, we have to load PV profile first. So we have some inbuilt PV profile. If you want to create your own PV profile, then you can create that one using the waveform generator. So we'll use this Zinco JKM300M72 IPAVX file. Now we'll insert the code. So here we can insert the command here. Now you can see here. So initially we want that the illumination and temperature should be 1000 watt per meter square and 25 degrees centigrade. Now we'll save this one. Now we'll add some settings here. So we have to provide, we have to add some signals. So first VPV, then IPV, then PPV, then we'll observe the V output. So now we'll provide the signal into different viewport. Now in this SCADA input, you can see that we have enable signal. So this enable signal is used for providing to enable and disable the boost converter. So we're not having the SCADA input for single phase inverter because we have given their constant value. So now either we can use the model control for providing the PV panel setting, or here we have used initialization so that if we'll start the simulation, it will automatically load the PV file. So now I'll start this simulation. So here you can observe we have the PV output. We can monitor here. It is giving the maximum power, having the efficiency at 99.21%. And we can also observe the signal output here. So to capture this signal, we can go to the we can change the settings on scope capture. Then we have to import the settings, whatever we have imported in the scope mode. So we will have to click on this and we have to import settings. After that, one signal will be imported to the capture mode. Now what you can do, you can capture the signal in the image format using the trigger and force trigger. So if you apply the trigger, then you have to stop the trigger after this time interval. So most of the time we use this force trigger, it will automatically stop this stop capturing the data after the time interval what you will provide here. So if you want to capture the data for 2 seconds, 3 seconds, whatever your requirement, it's totally dependent on your requirement. So I'll observe the data for 2 seconds, like so. 1 second. So I'll observe the data for 1 second, and depending on your time interval, you have to provide the sample rate. So here we have the option for providing the sample rate from 100 sample per second to 2 mega sample per second. So you can select that one. So I'll select 1 mega sample per second. So now I'll start the force trigger. So after 1 second, it will capture all the data. So here you can observe that our simulation time is very slow. It is not running on real time as it is written here, virtual hill mode. So basically we are all, right now we are using the virtual hill environment mode. We are not connected to any hardware device. That's why this simulation time is very is running very slow. So if you connect the hardware device, it will run with your actual wall clock. So like this, you can capture data. Now you can just export to PNG image. And if you want to observe the FFT analysis, you can that one using the FFT analysis. So one more thing is that if you want to capture the data from very beginning of the simulation, so if you want to analyze the dynamics, the transient of the system, then what you need to do, you need to first stop the simulation, then you need to first start the force trigger, and then you will press the start simulation. So after this, it will capture the data from very beginning of the simulation. So now you can observe here the transient, you can see, you can observe here. Similarly, you can capture it. So related this model, if you have any query, you can ask. Anyone having any query? So like if you want to change the PV radiation temperature, you can change online, like while running the simulation. Here I am changing the PV radiation. So now you can observe that the PV monitor setting is changed. So now similarly, we can change the temperature. So like this, you can change while running the simulation. I think you got the idea how we can change and how we can design this, all the settings. So related to this, if you have any query, you can ask.
For that unit delay we have taken for taking the sample as Vn and Vn minus 1. For that purpose we are used now. Hello?
Yes, unit delay. Basically, we are here we are using the perturb and observe. So we have to first observe the change in voltage and change in power, so that we can provide that input in the like we are using the code here, C code. So we have to provide that change in power and change in input in the C code. So for observing the change in power and change in input, we have taken the unit delay so that we can get the change in power and change in input. Because in the P&O algorithm, we know that we have to apply some change. That means we have to apply some perturbance in the voltage. Then we observe the power, whatever we are getting the in the change in power. So that's why we are using here unit delay for that purpose.
Okay, sir. And sir, how the values of this filter, capacitor, and inductors are chosen?
So basically, you have to calculate that one. So I have calculated earlier. So that's why I know that value. So you have to calculate. So using the formula, you can calculate that one. You have the reference paper. If you can download that one, and you can calculate the filter value and filter inductor and capacitor value.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Basically you have to design the filter na. It's not like if you will put any value, it will going to give you the proper result. So you have to design the filter value so that you will get the minimum harmonic.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So any other query? Anyone? So related
Sir.
to yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, in this buck boost converter, why we need this carrier frequency? Carrier
So,
frequency means it is the frequency of switching the IGBT block.
yes. Basically, this boost converter is so if you want to study more detail regarding this boost converter, you can go to the help and you can study detail. You can study detail about the internal structure and modeling and all the settings whatever we have in the boost converter. You can get not only this boost converter. If you have any query regarding any of this component, you can go from you can just double click on that component and you can click on the help and you can get the idea how this converter and how this circuit is designed. So basically here, if you click on this help, you'll get the detailed idea. So like this, you can observe. So you can see here, we have the component libraries. So whatever the component library you'll select, you'll get the detailed regarding that component library. So basically it is designed using the IGBTs. So that's why we are using the carrier frequency here. Okay, we go to the so regarding the any component, you can go to the help and you can study about that component. So any other queries? Any other queries regarding the modeling and regarding the simulation, regarding the area of interest, how you can implement? So if you are working on different field, so you can observe that in the example model, we have different example model. So here for different applications, we have different example for aerospace, automotive, then some basics example models for electrical circuits. Then we have example model for communication protocol, then for electrical drives, and for other applications like microgrid, power qualities, power system. So if you're working on different applications, different field of area, you can go through that particular example model and you can get the idea how we can utilize this software and how we can design our own model. So like this, we have in the general power electronics, we have different. So one boost closed loop and MPPT boost charger. So basically, just a minute. हाँ सर, हाँ बस एंड ही हो रहा है. हाँ सर. ओके ठीक है. ओके ओके सर, ठीक. Yeah, sorry for the interruption. So here you can see that we have the model for boost charger. Then for different applications, like if you are going to work on the field of microgrid, so we have different microgrid example model here for PV plant, for wind farm, wind turbine. So we are not having so much time, so that we cannot give you the idea of that. You can go through this model, and if you will face anybody, you can ask anytime.
Sir, one last question.
Yes. Hello? You can ask.
Here we are not specifying the capacity of this PV panel. We are directly varying the illumination only,
Okay, okay.
irradiance only.
No. Yes,
So we are specifying the how much kilowatt panel we are
yes.
using here over.
As I have told you, I am loading this PV panel. So I've told you, there are some inbuilt PV panel which is already available in the Typhoon HIL software. So let me preview that one. So you'll get the idea what is the capacity of that panel. So basically, the panel which I have used here, the capacity of that panel is the maximum power is 255 watt, and the current is 6.86, and the voltage is 37.23. So I have told you, if you want to design your own panel, like you are having the requirement for 5 kilowatt, 10 kilowatt, whatever your requirement, it's totally depend on you. So like your system, like your model. So if you are working on different PV panel, so what you can do, you can design your own PV panel using this waveform generator. So let me show you so that you will get the idea how you can design that one. So it's opening. So here you can see that we have the Typhoon HIL waveform generator. So here you can have different modes. First one is to generate PV panel and to import IV characteristics. So whatever the inbuilt PV panel is here, so I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to generate one PV panel using the different settings. So we have here detailed, then EN50530 compatible, then normalized IV. So we can choose as per our requirement. So if we select this EN50530 compatible, so we have to provide only open circuit voltage and short circuit current. So after providing this one, we have to preview, and we have to provide the irradiation temperature. Later we can change this irradiation temperature in the SCADA panel, as I'm changing that in this SCADA panel of this single phase PV inverter. As you have seen that how I'm going to how I've changed that one. So this is the capacity we have. We are getting here 213 watt. Now if I want to design the PV panel, I want to increase the capacity, so I'll change the open circuit voltage. So here you can observe that I have the panel capacity 1.25 kilowatt. Now similarly, if I want to increase, so here I have changed the open circuit voltage only. So that means I'm increasing the number of panel in series. Now if I want to increase the number of panel in parallel, so for that I have to increase the short circuit current. So now I'll preview this one. Now you can observe that here the panel capacity is now 2.17. So similarly, you can design, like you can change and you can design as per your requirement. So now you can choose the different types here. First one is CSI, then thin film, then user defined. So you can select as per your requirement, and as per, so you in the detail you have to provide the detailed settings here. So you have to provide open circuit voltage, then short circuit current, then all these parameter, ideality factor, number of cells, then temperature, then all these property you have to provide. So all these things you have to provide. So like this, if you want to design user defined, you have to provide the technology settings here. So this is totally like depend on you what types of the PV panel you want to design. So in this way you can design your own panel, and then you need to save that one. So like here, if you click this one, then it will ask for where you want to save that particular system. So now let me, so you can see that PV file settings successfully saved. Now you can later import that one into the SCADA panel. Now you get the idea how you can design your own panel.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Got it, sir.
Okay. Any other queries?
No, sir. Not from my side now.
So anyone having any other queries, you can ask. And you can explore the software. We have different example model you can explore, and you can observe that you will have, definitely you will feel very good, because we are having different example model related to different field of applications. So I'll suggest you please explore that example model. Then if you'll face any problem, any issue, you can connect us. So I think Sudipto sir have given you WhatsApp contact, so you can post on that group also. You can post your query there. So if you are not having any query, you can end the session, or if you are having any query, you can ask. Otherwise, we can end this session.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for attending the session. Now we'll going to end this session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all for attending the session. Thank you. Bye bye.